Hello, summer camp art students. I'm Miss Morris, and today we will create a two-dimensional composition I titled A Dozen Roses. Here I have two that I've made. Both are arranged differently. The first one is the heart that I did, and it's arranged, it's arranged as a heart in a heart shape. It has no leaves, different from this one. And it has more, if you look closely at the lines, it has more of like a rustic line going on here. Now, for those who don't understand what rustic means, it just means it has a more rugged look, or it's considered a natural beauty. So the lines are very different. If you look at this one here in comparison, the second one I arranged more in a natural arrangement. I wanted it to look like, almost like if you were looking down from a bird's eye view of a bouquet of roses. Now there are 12, and you will create 12 of these today. It doesn't matter which design you choose to go with. And also looking at this, the lines, in comparison to this one, the first one I made, the lines are very clean. They're very straight. Okay, so there's different ways you can go about it. Either way, however your lines come out, it's going to be absolutely beautiful. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about the materials. So the first material you'll need is a small canvas board. Now this is 8 by 10 inches, very small. You can get this at Michael's, Amazon. They usually sell them by the dozen, or you can get a pack of 5. They're really, really cheap. They may cost about $1 or more each. Very inexpensive. Okay, so that's 8 by 10. You also will need 1 sheet of hot pink construction paper, or you can also use cardstock. Now, cardstock comes in a lot of beautiful arrangements and a lot of different colors. And that's usually how you can find a lot of colors in the same hue in one pack. And they usually sell on sale for about $5 or a little bit more for a pack of 50. Okay, just to give you an idea. Okay, so you'll need 1 sheet of hot pink construction paper or cardstock. You will need 1 sheet of a very, very dark red, if you have one. And you will also need 2 sheets of medium red. So it's just like a basic red, just like a just regular red, nice and bright red. Also, you will need 1 sheet of green construction paper. So again, pink, dark red, red, red. Now, if you don't have a different arrangement of different color reds, that's fine. You can basically just use all red. So all your roses are still red, okay? So that's fine as well. I'm just offering you the option. Okay. So getting started, we also will need a few other items. We need a CD. That's right, we need a CD to trace our circles to create our roses, and I'll demonstrate that after going over this list. Also, you will need a pencil to trace, a pair of scissors, masking tape, and most people have these in their homes. You can also use frog tape if your parents, they may come in a different color, but you can use frog tape, painter's tape, masking tape, all the same, okay? You also will need hot glue sticks for this project, and also a hot glue gun. Now, with this, you will need a parent supervision, children. So before even using this, you have to get permission and have supervision by a parent, guardian, or someone 18 years or older, okay? All right, so let's get started. I'm going to just move my items out of my way. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to tape off our canvas. Now I'm holding my canvas horizontally like this, not vertically, like this. And I'm going to just take my tape, and the first piece I'm going to align as straight as I can against the edge of this. So the first one will be aligned with the edge of my canvas. Tear it. Again, trying to space out, and I'm just eyeballing it to make it as straight as possible, placing down and smoothing. Okay, so I'm just trying to just eyeball. So whatever the thickness of your tape is, that's the lines you're going to make. Okay, again, measuring it with my eyes. Is it straight? Getting it as straight as possible, smoothing that line, just like that. And one more. I'm still following the thickness of the white here. So it doesn't matter where this tape falls, as long as that white is just about even. Just like that. Okay. Now, you will need some acrylic paint. Not sure if I mentioned it, but we will be using black. So if you have black acrylic paint, you're just going to squirt out a little here, right onto your canvas. Ooh, come on. Okay. And I'm just going to take my flat brush and paint all my lines. Just making sure my tape is really secure. Now I'm going to smooth this paint. I don't want it really super wet in any areas. Making it as thin as I can. Okay. Now what you're going to do is you're going to dry this. Now there's two ways you can do that. You can wait about 15 minutes, pause the tape, wait about 15 minutes for this to dry, or if you have permission, you can use a hair blow dryer and just gently blow it, and it should dry within maybe 5 or less minutes, okay? So I'm going to pause the tape, and once this is dry, we'll come right back. Okay, we're back. Okay, so now my canvas is dry. And once your canvas is completely dry, you can begin to remove the tape. Okay. Now my lines are pretty rustic. And the reason why is because when I laid my tape, I didn't really go back over and press really, really hard. And that's how you create that rustic look. It just protects the what you're going to leave out just enough so that when you're painting, some of the paint kind of seeps underneath the tape on the edges, and it creates that rustic line. Now, if you don't want that rustic line, all you'll do is once you place your tape down, you're going to rub really, really hard. For example, you're going to press and you're going to rub, make sure that's nice and tight and really against it. Sometimes you can also take a ruler and smooth it out, and that will create a nice tight line so that once you paint over and you remove your line, it's much cleaner than this. So depending on if you want a rustic line or if you want a more of a very defined clean line, that's the difference in what you'll do. So moving on. So now that we have this painted, I'm going to move this out the way. And I know this is a little messy from painting, but it's dry. We're going to now take our hot pink paper. I'm going to fold it in half. Using my CD on one side, I'm going to trace a circle. Hope you guys can see that at home. Let me adjust my camera a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to cut out this circle. Okay. Okay. Now I should have two large circles. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them back together again. And I'm going to create, and I have an example here, this. And I'm going to turn this into this. And that's going to be the rose, okay? So notice if you look at this one, this is much smaller. My lines aren't perfectly going around. I leave some space, but they're not perfect. If you look at the lines, they're a little jagged, and that's kind of what we want, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to cut. I'm going to hold this as close as I can to the camera, and I'm going to cut, making my first cut here. And as I cut, I'm going to feed the scissors, holding my paper, going around and around like a swirl, okay? Coming here, giving some space, and it's okay if my lines are not even. That creates a nice texture within the rose, okay? So don't try to be perfect. Placing this face down, pressing it down, I'm going to lift up and remove my swirl. Now I should have two, okay? So now I'm going to push these aside, and I'm going to take my next sheet of paper, which is my darkest red, and I'm going to cut another circle out. And I'm also going to cut another smaller circle right here. So if you have a cup at home or anything to trace, you can just make yourself a nice smaller circle, and it should fit between this space here. So now you should have one and two here, two different shapes. Fold it in half, you'll have 4 all together. Okay, so now I'm going to just cut this. And this creates different sizes within the bouquet, and it gives it a more natural look. Okay, so again, starting here. Some are thinner, sometimes when I cut is wider, and that's kind of what we want. Place it flat down because it makes it easier to pull apart. And there you have it. That's 2. So now we have these 2, these 2. Okay. Now I'm going to cut the smaller one out. Turning the circle as I go. Same thing again. Now the 2 sheets of red, and if you've just been working with red, you're going to continue on doing the same thing. Now what you're trying to create is at least 12 flowers. So you should have 12. So far that's 6. So now I have to make 6 more. I'm going to fold. I have 2 sheets here. I'm going to fold them. And then I'm going to make another small one. Now I'm going to have more than 12, but at least this gives you more options if you would like to add more red, okay? You can always have the little extras there. Okay. Moving a little faster now, because I'm sure you guys at home now have got the hang of it. Press down to pull these off. We have 4. Okay. And you got the picture. Okay, so now that we have all our swirls, circles cut out, what you're going to do is you're going to take your swirl and starting with the beginning cut piece here, you're going to take something small, maybe like a pencil's point, and start to curl it. Okay, I have paint all over my fingers. And once you got that started, and it should look something like that. Once you have that started, you're going to keep rolling nice and tight. So for me, it makes it easier when I hold it like this and just keep feeding it and rolling it like this. That way I can keep it nice and tight. And I'm just following the direction now. of my swirl. So as I follow the direction of my swirl, what starts to happen is one end is tighter, as you see here, and this top end is wider, and that's natural. Don't try to force it to be even. Leave it that way. Pulling nice and tight, almost like if you were to like re-roll some toilet tissue around its roll that's come loose, okay? So now, once I let it go, this is what it should look like. Place it down and just press it firmly, like so, and that's what you'll have, a rose, okay? I'm going to demonstrate one more time, and then I'm going to pause the tape, giving you time to roll all your roses. So again, I'm going to start here at the beginning. Find something a little small and pointy maybe to get started, to help you get started with that tight roll, because you want it really nice and little like this, remember? And just start to roll. And as you go around, one end will be tighter than the other, and that's natural. Let it go. Just keep letting it go. Roll it around. All the way around. Oops, slips a little bit. Place it down. Push, and there you have it. Okay, I'm going to pause. We'll be right back. Roll all of your roses. Okay, we're back now. Now I have at least 11 here. I almost have my dozen, but for one more time, I wanted to show you exactly how to roll this, just in case you do not remember. What I'm doing is folding forward. So your first fold should not go downwards. It should fold upwards. So I just want to clarify that for you. And so you're going to take your pencil and you're going to roll upwards, starting your first roll upwards like so. Then you're going to curl, keep curling it around and around, like so, holding it nice and tight. You can see. And there you have it. So that made 12. Okay. So moving my flowers out the way, actually, keeping them inside. I'm just going to make a natural bouquet arrangement, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first find a large flower, and I like to start with pink. I'm taking my glue gun. I'm just going to put like a little dot there and then press down like so. Again, right next to that one, not leaving too much space in between at all. I'm going to place my flower right there. And I want them kind of really close together, like they're touching, okay? Okay, keep going. Just keep arranging them however you like. Press down. Just like that. Oops, let's do it dark. Yeah. Now you can arrange yours any way you like. That's really, really all up to you. I'm putting them a little too close, but that's good because I like them to kind of look really bunched together like that. Okay. And place this one here. Really nice. Really nice. Here. What do you think? Oh, I think I need one here. There we go. And we're almost done with this bouquet. Perfect. Let's see. Maybe we can balance it right here. Like that. And there we go. So now we have our bouquet in place. And as if someone was holding a bouquet and you were going to smell the flowers, look how beautiful that looks. So now we're going to take our green sheet of paper, and what I want you to do is I want you to fold it in half and fold it again. And I want you to draw 3 leaves on this paper. And they'll go like such. Almost like an almond shape, but both ends are really pointy. And do your best you can to fit them all in. Just like that. Now I'm going to cut this. And you may not need all the leaves. I have now 4 leaves here. I'm going to just fold in half. Open the leaf. And I'll come out. And now I'm going to place my leaves on the outer part of just squeezing a little bit of glue inside. Just tucking those leaves in. Again. Cutting out my almond shapes, which are my leaves. Folding them in half. And then placing. I'm going to place 2 on this side. And I just kind of tuck them in. Right by their like corners, their points I should say. Just tucking them in. That's all I'm doing. So I don't feel like I need any more, but if I'd like to, I can just keep adding them going all the way around. But I think I'm going to stop here. And there you have it, everyone. This is your dozen roses, red roses. And this is really, really beautiful because you can actually just keep it in your room as a room decor, give it to your mom or someone you love, or grandma. It's really beautiful and it will last a really long time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Until next time, bye.